Hey yo guys, welcome back to Blessed Out. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Thesis Showcase. In this episode, we have with us Kaushal, who's discussing his project Ship of Theseus. But before we dive deep into the conversation with him, let me tell you a little bit about his project. The project is called Ship of Theseus. Before we discuss what it is about, let's first talk about the title, the Ship of Theseus. This is actually a very old philosophical question. So consider this thought experiment. It is supposed that the famous ship sailed by hero Theseus in a great battle was kept in a harbour as a museum piece. And as the years went by, some of the wooden parts began to rot and were replaced by new ones. Then, after a century or so, every part had been replaced. The question then is whether the restored ship is still the same object as the original, or is it something else entirely? Okay, so now let's come to the project. In his thesis, Kaushal wanted to develop and uplift the eastern waterfront of Mumbai. This is a waterfront where much development hasn't happened and it is inhabited by various communities. One of the things that binds these communities together is their relationship with water and their use of ships. So in this project, Kaushal proposes to take one of the many abandoned ships that you can find on this waterfront and to convert it into a new space that can help the various communities that live in there and be a catalyst to further promote sustainable, social and cultural development of the area. As he has written in his project, the Ship of Theseus not only restricted itself to architecture, but is an attempt to create an avant-garde movement. There is a lot to understand and unpack in this project, so without further wait, let's go and talk to Kaushal about his project. Now, before I start the interview, I wanted to let you know that you can support Blessed Dark via Patreon. For as little as $2, you can help me create better and better content and connect with industry professionals all over the world to bring you the best and the most innovative of all of architecture and design. So if you wish to support the channel, you can find the link in the description below. Now, let's start our interview. Hey Kaushal, it's good to have you on Blessed Dark. Thank you so much for taking out the time.
Thank you so much for having me. Hi.
So I had gone through your thesis, and I had found it really interesting. That is why I wanted to invite you over and sort of discuss it in detail to know how you came about this topic, how you sort of took your thesis forward, and understand the nitty-gritties of it. So before we even start with your thesis discussion, I want to know where did you study architecture from and when did you graduate? Like, also, what year did you do your thesis in?
Okay, so I did my graduation from Pune itself. It was called VIT's PVP College of Architecture, located here itself. So I did my thesis in my final year, which was the fifth year, which happened in 2018. So I started off in 2017 and I graduated in 2018. So it was around a 6-month tenure, which after your internship, you are supposed to work on your thesis itself. So that was the time when I was doing my thesis.
So one of the most important things, when you're doing your thesis is the selection of your topic. How did you choose your thesis topic?
Yeah, so see, that was a different story all about. I'll just frame and short it a bit. So the title of the project, as you had previously explained, is called The Ship of Theseus as a social plugin in Mumbai itself. So previously starting with, I had chosen this article which I was parallelly reading about. It talked about that eastern front, waterfront of Mumbai should be redesigned. And if you know Mumbai as a place in today's world, Western interface is very properly developed. You have the Queen's Necklace. So all the elite portions of the Mumbai itself have been developed along that coastline. The eastern waterfront, if you see, in that case, these are all the workshops, the fisher folk population, the coastal communities, the salt pan community. So all such communities which are residing along this edge of Mumbai itself. So there was this article which talked specifically about redevelopment and revamping the complete area around it. From that, I started researching upon that what is the relationship between land and water. So the relationship of land and water, I was parallelly doing some case studies which show some few examples of India itself, specifically the stepwells, how the cities grew around these stepwells itself. Mumbai as a place, if you know, it was basically these islands which were connected, the land filled in it and how it was joined. So water played a very important role in the formation of these coastal communities as well as the land formation itself. So starting with, I was trying to analyze these community, and if you see, due to global warming, the sea level are rising on a daily basis. And if you see, many of the cities we are facing, this is the very important scenario which has to be catered in today's time, because water levels have been rising across the edge, and the communities which have to be shifted now due to the rains which happens for a specific period of time along the edge. So it is a haphazard condition which comes into place, and many of the cities are sinking underwater. So my major concern starting with this thesis was that what can be this solution for this problem, which is dealt not only which is specific to India but across the globe itself. And after that, when I took it ahead, then I got to know that these portions, which was the eastern waterfront of Mumbai itself, it was previously a shipbreaking yard, which has now been shifted to Alang in Gujarat. So there are a lot of these vacant ship vessels which are lying still along the edge of Mumbai itself. So that is how which struck me with the idea that can we think of these modules to incorporate something which solves this problem of sea level rising and sinking, and can these units be used to redesign something, some kind of a brief which the government is planning to impose on this land itself. So that is how I started my journey with.
So it basically started with that idea of you wanting to change and wanting to sort of help out the communities, and then the idea of that tangible ship came into the picture.
The ship was not the previously thought in mind itself. That was when I started doing the research, and on site every week I used to visit my site. It was, so site is in Mumbai and I am from Pune. So it's around a 4-hour drive. So every weekend I used to visit Mumbai. And that is how, being on site, you try to do some workshops, some small workshops we have arranged where we were trying to interact with the communities and what these problems they are facing on a daily basis, right from basic things, right from the toilets, the need for education, need of some kind of guidance to these people, the skill training, what that these communities which are not being incorporated or considered as a part of the city. The most important thing which I was thinking about, that can architecture more sort of incline towards social infrastructure rather than physical infrastructure, where we are trying to cater to the needs of these people itself and trying to build a community. Yeah. So that was how it started on.
So I mean, this is a bit of a segue, and this I just want your personal opinion on. Is there's always this question that arises: is can architecture truly help change or bring about a change in people's lives or societies, or is it just infrastructure that we inhabit? And do people guide architecture, or can architecture guide people and societies as well? What is your thought on this?
See, if you consider, there is a very good saying in Marathi, and we call it Maharashtra itself, that there's a small line which talks about that तू घर बनवतोयस म्हणजे माणूस घडवतोयस. म्हणजे whenever you are building a home, you are trying to develop the person who is going to stay or be a part of that home itself. And that is the small sentence where we began. So this was a thing which we discussed in our college itself, and where this was the thought behind it. And when you're talking about right from a small house to a big building, whatever you're talking about, or a big space, rather, it can be educational, it can be recreational. Every space has its impact over the people who are being a part of that space itself at that specific time. And it somewhere or the other, I think it definitely makes a difference in the kind of way the things are approaching, the things are going upon, the conditions in which the people are living, the hygiene of it. So all these people play a very important factor in the daily life of people, is what I mean.
Okay, so let's start with the research. Once you selected your topic, what was the kind of research that you started with?
Okay, so starting with understanding, like I previously mentioned, understanding of site was very important. When I was dealing with ship as a medium to establish a sort of a connection between these communities, so actually there were these 3 different types of communities which were residing along the edge. So one was the salt pan community, one was the fisherman community, and the third one was a shipbreaking community. And one common thread which connected between these communities was the ship itself, which was their daily medium of source of income as well as livelihood. So starting upon the first important thing was to analyze the ship itself, trying to understand, because the architecture of ship is something which is not we are daily versed with. So dissecting all these vessels, understanding the levels of it, the most important concern when you're trying to analyze ship is to match the level of land and water. So ship, the level of the ship, like you imagine, the vessel of the ship is something which plays a very important role. So for these purpose, I had to do some theoretical studies. I actually visited INS Shivaji, which is actually a ship training institute in Lonavala itself, and which trains all these people. So marine engineers are trained here completely. So they have these big sections which are like sectional elements of ship, which are bought like full scale portion and installed inside. So doing a research about said, understanding the adjacencies about the ship itself, how the water levels, how are they to be managed, because putting a load across the ship itself, so there are some specific calculations which also have to be done. So while doing a thesis, you guys should also remember that theoretical as well as site goes hand in hand. Like just sitting at your college or sitting inside your home and doing the research off site won't help you. You have to be on site because the ground reality is something which is very different and it guides you. So ship was an outcome when I visited the site itself, and that is how I began with it. Apart from it, there was some specific case studies which I was also doing. So there was a theoretical case study is the ship of Theseus, the name as it talks about, is itself a case study in it, which talks about how does identity of an object change with respect to time. So that is what the idea of my thesis is based with, where I'm talking about how does that. So I designed a complete timeline of this ship where it would be moving from one place to another and for a specific period of time. So imagine, so this is what we call about ephemeral architecture, where it is not temporary or permanent, but something which is short-lived, where we talked about an object which is moving from one place to another after probably 3 months or 4 months. And similar case studies which I was trying to analyze was one of the archigrams, so Walking City by Archigram by Peter Cook, as this guy has suggested. So then ephemeral architecture by Rahul Mehrotra, where he talks about the Kumbh Mela as an example, which is also a short-lived community which is being established for a specific period of time, and after that it is moved on to a new place.
For this topic, obviously, your site was one of the very first things that you sort of started off with, right? Usually people select a topic and then go about finding the site for implementation of that topic. But I think your site is what gave rise to your final topic, right?
Yeah. So this is a very important question which every student who is trying to pursue a thesis should ask. So there are different typologies of thesis also. So some theses which are like site-based thesis, some theses are a part of like idea-based thesis. So idea plays a very important role in it. Some theses are typology-based thesis. So if you take school as a typology or institute as a typology or other hospital as a typology, so you guys need to understand that what is your specific typology of thesis, and that plays a very important potential in your thesis itself. That's the major decision making also, like what direction your thesis is going to lead to. What is that one important factor which guides your thesis? Yeah.
So now that your initial things are done, let's discuss the process a bit about how you took your research and your site and you started developing it. What was that process like, and what were the initial thoughts that were going through your head?
So the initial thoughts, so while making the brief, there was, like I previously mentioned to you, making the brief is first understanding the ground reality of the site itself. So hygiene was a very important factor which had to be catered on the site itself. The second important factor was about the skill training of these people itself. So there are a lot of children who are moving around and playing around with the scrap which is lying along the site. As the workshop has now been shifted, the shipbreaking yard in Alang itself, there is a lot of scrap which is lying along the site itself. So the most interesting factor about is that I made a list of inventory of what all material is lying on the site itself. So right from those metal wheels which have metal plates which we have, metal sections which we have. So there was a complete list of inventory which I was trying to make on site itself, and the scrap which I had on site. So after making that list of inventory, I sat with the local craftsmen which were there on the site itself. And that is where I try to understand that there, while developing a ship itself, there is a specific module in which the spaces have to be designed in, because there was a grid of skeleton of around 10 to 10 feet. So a 10 by 10 feet size, which we had with us. So that is how the load has also to be distributed. So talking about specifically, the ship centrally had a specific portion called the ballast tank, which is a very important factor to maintain the level of the ship. So the central portion of the ship has to be kept void while designing, and the brief has to be loaded on the side portions of it. That is how the specific, because I was working on a cargo vessel ship, which was previously used as a cargo ship to take like all our box sections which are there, like big ports and all, which are transferred from one portion to another portion. So there were also some people who are going to reside in this portion of the ship when it is moving from one location to another location. So that is how you have to also think about the temporal factor as well as the permanent factor. So while doing the thesis, these guys should also remember that whenever you're designing the brief, you need to understand the timeline of your brief itself. Like how much time these people are going to use your space when you're talking. If you take school as a matter of fact, so if you consider school, so there is a specific timeline from 10 to 4 or 10 to 6, a specific time in which the students are going to attend the school itself. So you have to understanding of natural lighting, day lighting, the climate factor which comes in consideration, climatology, sustainability, all these factors have to be considered because while I was designing my site itself, it was next to the coastal line. So wind load was a major important factor which has to be catered. Then rains is a very big thing in Mumbai itself which has to be catered. So the sway of it, the balancing of it. So all such things has to be considered while designing a project is what I would suggest.
All right, so let's come to now discussing your design a little bit. So walk me through it in brief, if you would.
So talking about when I was selecting the eastern waterfront of Mumbai itself, so there are three portions which I was exactly catering to. The A portion of it was Sivri Fort area. The second portion, which was Daru Khana, which was the shipbreaking yard, and the third portion was Jamshedji Bandar, which was a fishing community area. So these were point A, point B, and point C, where my ship would be moving across the year, where I talked about an annual timeline which was designed. So January, February, and March, when after the rains are done, the salt pan community are in a need of a temporary market which has to be set up, which is a very important factor. So the ship would be moving a 3-month timeline, which it would be staying on that site itself, which would be a temporal market which comes in place. Then the second portion, when it comes to April, May, June. So after the winters, in the summers, when the coastal line is done, the ship can actually be broken down into multiple pieces where the work of shipbreaking actually happens on site itself. So that is how at this specific time the ship remains. And similarly, so on and so forth, when fishing community, when the rains are in full swing, so the ship, the water level also rises. And there are lots of fishing which can be done on the sea level itself. So that is how, and so on and so forth, the entire timeline was designed. Now, there were two parts of the brief itself. One was the contextual, which was the periodic activities on the ship itself, and one was the constant, which are like the permanent needs of the people which are staying on the site itself. So talking about the contextual, which were the periodic activities, they were the training spaces. Then it had the market modules, which are going to be installed. Then it also had some exhibition modules. So big scale, and so you need to imagine that the coming of a ship itself was an event in itself. So this is sort of an event. You must be knowing Kala Ghoda as a festival, as a part of Mumbai itself. So similar format, if you can imagine that on a larger scale, where you actually utilize the potential of the edge of Mumbai, and you create such kind of an experience along the edge of Mumbai itself, where you're catering to the communities itself, as well as you are catering to the people of Mumbai. So that is how this brief had come in picture. Then you also have some makers lab where so the bottom portion is used to train the children which are residing on the site itself. Then some workspaces, some studio spaces. Then the central portion had some learn spaces, so some training rooms in the central portion of it, and the collaboration modules on the upper floor. And the central portion was used as a contemplation module. And the constant, which were the permanent needs of the people, included a community radio station. It had a panchayat meet area, which is for the people itself. So along the two edges, which I would be showing in the drawing itself to you, on both the ends, then you also have a community kitchen. So sort of a gathering of people, which gets them together during this period of time. You have some retiring spaces. You have the green toilets also, the sustainable toilets, which we would be putting on site. And there was a creche for the small children. So this is how the entire brief had been designed, which had the constant as well as the contextual.
Okay, so now let's get into a bit of the technical aspects of your thesis in the sense of the process of designing it. So, I mean, what kind of softwares did you use when you were creating this thesis and when you were creating your final output?
Okay, so while doing the analysis of this, most important thing which was so AutoCAD plays a very important role in understanding the technicalities as well as the dimensioning of it, where we were specifically talking about some spaces and proportions and the multiplication of it. Then Rhinoceros plays a very important role in which I had designed some portions of it where Rhino was the basis of it, and parallelly some portions which had to be developed in SketchUp also. So these were two softwares, and majorly I was focusing upon Rhinoceros as a whole. Yeah.
Did you make a physical model for your final presentation as well?
Yeah, so I
Or was
made
it?
like a big scale model. So it was around a 1.5 meter model itself. Imagine 1.5 meters
Okay.
by around 60 centimeters. So that was the size of the ship model which I made itself in it, and it has, so it was moreover like a skeleton model in which all the spaces can see through, because if you close over the edge, understanding of internal spaces become difficult. So complete dissection and a skeleton model had been made of the project itself. Yeah.
So now let's talk a little bit about your presentation boards. So, when you were also composing your presentation boards, your final sheets, uh, did you did you have any thoughts in mind or a certain aesthetic in mind that you had, and you went about it that way, or you saw as they came and you did it that way?
No, so while doing a presentation boards, the most important thing which we need to remember is what is we want to convey to the general people or the juror, whatever we are trying. So conveying that idea is very important. And rather than designing the sheets, what I was designing moreover was the timeline. Like my project was explained as a timeline of the sheet itself. So I was trying to explain that, imagining the coming of the ship, then how it is going and parking inside those areas, then how it is the things are happening more over the site itself, and how that ship is leaving the site and it is again going on and plugging into the different portion of the site itself. So conveying the idea is something what is very important. And while designing this thing, every person has a different ideology for the project itself. So conveying that idea is something which needs to focus upon, and color combination is something also which plays a very important role while doing the presentations, because it moreover talks about the language we are looking forward for this project. So exploded views, some 3D renders, then presentation drawings. So all of these factors play a very important role, and some conceptual sketches also, which I think was the basis of the design, because it truly talks about the impact or the imagination of your space. So you're trying to pick out those specific lines of guidance which you want the people to perceive your space as. So that is something which needs to be dealt about. Yeah.
So, what software did you use to like compose your sheets?
So for composing, I was working in Illustrator itself to do that composition, as well as I was working on Photoshop also, considering some sort of renders itself, which had to be developed, composed in that. And finally, we did that in InDesign. So that was how it went about.
Okay, so those beautiful renders, images that we see are all created in Illustrator, is that so?
Yeah, so the base render has to be done in Rhino and SketchUp itself, and after that has to be post processed in Illustrator. So considering the some of the shadow portions, all of that, the fineness of the lines itself, so all of that has to be worked out in Illustrator, and after that it takes in into the InDesign, which is the final composition of all our elements. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your jury experience. So when you were finally presenting your thesis to your jury, what was that like? And there's also, there's this thing that comes up, varying universities have like different time limits of how much you're allowed to give the jury for. So like, did you have enough time, and what was the experience with the jury?
See, starting with, it was a very beautiful experience rather, because rather than just me explaining the project itself, it was more about a discussion about the idea. And that is what has to be incorporated in the institutions itself. It shouldn't be just one person who is trying to explain the idea. It should be more of a conversation where we were trying to discuss each and every element, how we had went about from step to step. It was like like a conversation where we are talking about how does an idea get converted into a reality. Where the starting portion was just that I want to do something with relationship of the land and water itself, or talking about the rising water levels across the world itself. So the thesis question is something which my discussion started with, and I guess every person should remember that every person should have a thesis question when they are trying to begin with that, why we are doing this, or what is the purpose of this thesis when we are trying to do that. Will it create a difference as a matter of fact, and are we trying to create a solution for these people? So my discussion were more over was an answer to that question which I began with, and that is how we went about in Suri thesis. And step by step, so it was from the presentation portion, then we went across through the model, then we tried to analyze and understand the spaces across the model, and after that there was a video at the end which talked about the complete journey and the presentation of the thesis itself. So that is how we went about.
This is one thing, I discuss with a lot of people as well. In our schools, especially in India, one of the thing is people usually, a lot of people, a lot of students are sort of scared of juries it is also that it comes into that, because again that guy is there to sort of pass or fail you, which I also keep telling people that yeah, that is true. But juries are more about your discussion and your presentation of what you've already done. It'd be similar, like if you, even if you talk to a client out into the field, obviously the client is not as technically knowledgeable as your juror, but it's the same thing. You're still presenting your ideas, presenting your design to somebody else, and so it's more like a discussion, more like your presentation than about somebody judging you.
The thing we need to remember is that it is the only time in life where we get to design our own brief. That is the best part of the thesis itself, is what I believe. Because every new project, when you set up in a practice, you have people which come with their specific brief. They want to build a house, they want to build an education institute, whatever, so on and so forth. But when you're designing your core brief, you know how and what this project has been through. You have been in it for a year or more, rather. So the best person who knows this thesis is you itself, because you have been in it since a very long time and you know the basics of it, and you should be confident about this, is what I believe. There is no point fearing about what, like, see, every the design can't be just perfect. It can't rather be good or bad. It's just a matter of subjective interpretation, what a person tries and portrays and interprets and then kinds of designs it. So more about it, it is about catering to that need of that specific project which we have taken up.
Are there any other aspects of your thesis that you sort of want to discuss that maybe we didn't in this, and you want to showcase light on that particular aspect?
Talking more about the specificity of my thesis itself, generally, it was more about the journey which I went on through this process. The discussions which I had with my faculty, with my seniors, with my peers was something which was a very important role, because architecture is a fraternity which develops with discussion. Because every person has a different perspective. You get different ideas, how three different people think in three different ways. The same thing when we are talking about. So that is something how architecture grows. And we should remember people are more introvert when they are talking about their design. They get a bit of conservative, like how should I go? How should I approach people? And sort of frightened over it. So this is something which should be avoided. You should be very frank. You should be discussing with a lot of people. Also, you should discuss your project with a layman also, because what a general person thinks about this project is something that's the best credit you will get. Because we architects tend to have thinking in a very specific direction. But what a general person, what he is thinking about your project is something which has a very important say, is what I think.
Listen, there have been countless, when I was in school, there has been countless discussions with my mom when she used to look at a particular project, and she used to talk about aspects that I never even thought about. And she used to bring up those aspects, and it was not just her. From her that I realized that a lot of people would generally just start thinking about aspects that I had not even thought of itself.
That is something which is very important.
Yeah, true. All right. So, before we end, is there one or maybe a few advice that you would have for people who are doing their thesis?
Yeah, so the best advice which I can give to the students is that remember that thesis is more over a process rather than a problem solving exercise, which we think. Like it should be a story which creates a difference, is what I think. That's what architecture talks about.
That is some brilliant advice. And yeah, so that was, I think, the end of our discussion. Thank you so much, Kaushal. Thank you so much for taking out the time, and thank you so much for coming to the channel and discussing your project with everybody here.
Yeah. Thank you, Rishabh, for having me on board. Thank you so much. This was nice talking to you.
And that was it, you guys. That was the end of the thesis showcase episode. I hope you liked it and got to learn something from it. Let me know your thoughts about the project down below. You can post any questions that you have for the thesis as well, and hopefully I can get Kaushal to join in the discussion and answer them for you. As always, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to Blessed Arc, and do remember, if you want to help support the Blessed Arc platform, you can do so through Patreon. You can find the link in the description below. Also down below, you can find the details of the social media handles of Kaushal, and also you can find the details of how you can send in your thesis to be showcased on this channel. I will see you guys very soon with more such content. Until then, bye bye.